All right, Tanya, thank you so much for joining me here today. Once again, my name is Sebastian Bolivar. I'm the NAHREP Tampa Bay Membership Director for 2025.
Awesome.
And you are part of the NAHREP Top 250, which is amazing. So congratulations. That's an incredible achievement.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what brought you to that point,
Okay.
or how much was your volume last year, units? Do you those numbers handy?
I actually have this year's handy, and I can
Oh,
probably
great.
get you real quick the ones from last year as well. So far this year, I've done about 65 sides for just over 13 million. I was kind of hoping to hit that $20 million mark, but things have slowed down quite a bit, especially in our area. We are right smack in the middle of the state. So I'm located or based out of Sebring, Florida, which is about, I would say, 80 miles southeast of Tampa, about the same amount southwest of Orlando. So we're like really in a central point, um, which is great because we rent about 28% cheaper than the coast as far as property values. But when the coast slows down, we tend to slow down as well because the people that are selling, that are readily selling over there and can buy over here, they tend to slow down a little bit. But last year I did just over 21 million. I am a I am a solo agent with so my business partner, Chet Maxey, he is kind of like my right-hand side person. He lets me handle all of the sales side, all of the listings as well as the selling with the buyers. And then he is kind of like my gopher for everything else. If I need, if I double or triple book myself on a day, he does showings for me. He goes and puts all the signs out for me. He does all the running around that, kind of takes up time. It frees me to be answering and making phone calls and talking to people and just doing marketing to get us out there. We are blessed. We started MBNA back in 2020, December 1st. So we just celebrated 4 years. And it's always been him and I. We have grown a brokerage out of it and everything. So we are currently sitting at 33 agents, but the volume that I present to NAHREP is my personal volume. Probably starting next year, we have transitioned to be with LPT Realty. So now we're considered a team. So probably next year I'll be going into the other 250, when they include the teams and everything. So no more solo agent for me, but yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, it's still an incredible achievement. It's amazing that your volume, 13 million even this year. When you said most of the time, or there's a lot of places that have slowed down,
Mhm.
but still a remarkable achievement. So,
Thank
so
you.
congratulations.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
wonderful.
you.
So how long have you been in real estate?
So I started back in 2015. I
Okay.
was actually part-time until I opened the brokerage December 1st. I
Oh,
actually
nice.
had another business. I've always been in sales for over 20 years. I've been in sales, medical sales to be specific. So I developed a lot of relationships. And when I started selling real estate, it was basically people that I knew from there that said, well, you do a good job for us here, you're going to do a good job for us selling our real estate. And that's how it started evolving. And so 2016, I got my license in 2015 in November. And then I got and then 5 years to the date in November as well, I got my broker's license. And then I started MBNA December 1st. Um, so it'll be 10 years next year. So we've been really blessed.
That's so cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
and you could tell how passionate you are about the business. So that's wonderful. It's great that you've been able to grow a brokerage. You've got agents under you. Tell me what is that value proposition? Why would someone want to work with MBA or next year's Faces or Transition at which you work to? What kind of things do you do for your agents?
I think that what we do, honestly, is just a lot of structure, especially when we are starting out. We have a lot of agents. As a matter of fact, there's the M to the B of MBNA Realty. But I think that we provide a lot of structure. And when we first started, we kind of were looking at newer agents per se. I know that I kind of look back on what I wanted help wise when I first started, especially since I wasn't like really committed 100% into it. So I think that we made a very conscious and intentional decision to say, this is how we're going to train people. This is how we're going to set them up for success. And I think that they look back at the success that we've had, because even on our first year, it was just him and I and maybe two other agents. And as the volume started growing and people could go back and pull up those numbers on the MLS, they were like, wait a minute, they're doing something right. And that's why they've joined us. And I think the partnerships that we have made, throughout, we are a reside platform brokerage or team per se, and they stress a lot as far as um, onboarding and training and teaching people, raising the standard, especially with all these new changes that have happened with the broker agreements. A lot of people don't know how to articulate the value and everything that we do. Everybody just thinks, oh, we go and show a pretty house, open a door, and then we get to the closing table. No, there's 15,000 different things and variables and things that can happen, that if you don't have a solid foundation of what is right or wrong in that contract and you can't decipher it, then it can be very overwhelming. And then you get discouraged and then you fall out of the business, when actually it is a really great business. When it's done well, is probably one of the most fulfilling businesses that you can be at. There's nothing better than getting a family that thought that maybe they couldn't get into a home, because you have the right contacts with the right programs, and you've got a title company that is working with them, a good lender that's working with them, and following the process through. You have to know the process so you can be successful at it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I completely agree with you. It's wonderful that you guys have built those systems. For a solo agent who was watching this and saying, man, I would love to get to that point. What do you believe is something that, absolutely kind of the secret sauce you have to have in your business?
I learned by showing up to the office. I know that I didn't have to, but I learned by showing up to the office. I literally picked the office next to the sales manager at the brokerage that I started with. And this lady had over 40 years of experience, and I listened. And I listened. And when an opportunity came to go and work floor, I worked floor, and I just kind of grabbed the bulls by the horns in that regards. And I just showed up to the office. And I tell people, we went through a time frame in the last couple of years that it was easy money. All you had to do was put a sign out, and you get 2-3 offers and everything. Or you had a buyer immediately say, no, I'll take it any which way it comes. I don't care. And that's not the reality. That's not what real estate is. So I try to emphasize, I tell people I show up to the office no matter what. Every day I show up, because something's always happening at the office that you will learn from. No, start making phone calls. Situations will arise. Somebody's there to guide you and to tell you what they would do. I don't want to tell people how to do it. I want them to analyze it and come back to me and say, I have this situation and I was thinking about doing it this way. So, and then you can agree or disagree, or start a dialogue asking, well, why are you thinking that way? What are we missing? How can we make this better? I would tell any new agent, you need to be in the office. That's going to be 80% of all the answers that you're looking for are going to be answered there.
Yeah, that's great advice, especially in this post-COVID world, right?
Yes.
Where most of the people are remote, it's so valuable to have somebody with experience, because a lot of times you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And a lot of people think that they get the license and that's it and everything, but find it also a good mentor, somebody that has been in the business. A lot of people are like, oh, and we're kind of guilty of it too, because we have LPT and
Right.
cloud brokerage. 100% means a level of responsibility that goes along with working that transaction that you might not be ready for. So find a great team that provides training, that provides a sales agent with ample experience, not somebody that just says, okay, well, I'm going to start a team now and with 5 of my friends and here we go. But find somebody that you can go to and speak with and really communicate with them and learn from them. So probably be in the office if they have an office for you to go to, and then find a great mentor because or a coach. I mean, there's some really great coaches out there. We believe in them. We get coached. I have a business degree, um, 25 plus years of sales experience, and I'm like, I need a coach, and that's what we did with Reside. And we have weekly coaching meetings, and they're non-negotiable. My staff knows to not to call me on Mondays from 4 to 5 because I am with my coach, and he's giving me a plan, a roadmap, so that way they can be successful.
Yeah, I agree. Coaching is so valuable. It's so important, even just for the accountability aspect, right?
Absolutely.
And then just giving you a new way of thinking, new strategies, a mentor. I think all that is extremely valuable for those new agents looking to break ground and really grow their volume, grow their business, and start running it like a business.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah,
you do have your own business. You own your
exactly.
own business. You're
Exactly.
1099.
Or you got to wear the marketing hat and the sales hat and the processing. So it's a lot to handle. So tell us a little bit about how you were able to scale. Once you get to that volume where it's like, oh man, I'm too busy. What does that first hire look like? What is your team structure? In an ideal world, do you see yourself growing the team?
We are very much still growing the team. As a matter of fact, we just recruited 3 more new agents. We're actively recruiting. And again, it's having that structure, a checklist. It's an
Yeah.
amazing thing. I have one of my coaches in Reside. He was a captain in an airline. He goes, why would we think that because we're in sales and we get to go out and have coffee or do this or do that? So I provide a checklist that everybody gets in my company that has what it is, who's responsible for it, and when it's due and everything. And it probably has too many steps. Try to tell them that every transaction is different, but they should see at least 80% of everything in that checklist. They should be checking it off and working with their transaction coordinator. That first hire was actually really funny. She came in and we fell in love with her, and we were like, okay, we'll talk soon. We'll follow up. She came back 35 minutes later and she said, I gave notice at my other brokerage and I just moved my license with you. Nope. Nope.
You're ready. Diamond writing. Oh,
She
man.
dove right in. She didn't wait for me to say yes or no. She just came in, and she has been like that all along. She's always been a top producer, doing 3 to 5 million per year for us. The most amazing thing is that she came to this country about 11 years ago. English is not her first language. She's Cuban, and her English can be sometimes quite broken, but her personality and the love that she exudes, people are just automatically drawn for her. She has a bubbly personality, and she'll grab her Google on her phone and she'll talk to it in Spanish, and then she'll hit translate, and all of a sudden she'll go like this to the person and, oh, okay. And then they do the same thing to her. And she has just flourished. And to me, she's like the epitome of what it is to be a Hispanic realtor. She helps her community. She is not afraid to get out there and deal with any of our senior citizens. We are the second largest Medicare population in the state of Florida. So we get a lot of snowbirds, and she's just fine with them. She just rock and rolls. And that was my first hire. I also got a good assistant, somebody that kept me in line and everything. She was also licensed. which was really nice. We just kind of worked through it. That first year, that 2021 was crazy. We sold 18 million by ourselves. That was the height of COVID. And we did over 150 transactions. And we said, okay, I think we can do this. And then everybody just started seeing that. And then they said, okay, well, we want to join you and we want to join you. And we've been as big as 38 agents. And then we've lost some. Sometimes you get smaller to get bigger. And I think that that's the transition that we're in right now with LPT. We started with them with like almost 40 agents. Now we're about 33. We just recruited 2 more. So we'll be at 35. We've got 1 more person coming in this afternoon to see if it's a good fit. The goal is to get to 100 and hopefully start serving more families and in more areas.
That's amazing. I love everything you said, starting from the checklist. It's so important. I mean, it's the same in our business. We have something called the perfect loan process.
Mhm.
It's 60 steps that every client has to go through. That's how you know you're delivering that wow service every time. You know,
Every time. Yep.
every
That's
time.
what I tell people. You have to do it every single time. There's that structure that you have to follow. Do not skip it. Do not take a shortcut. When you do that, bad things happen. Things
Correct.
happen. They will always happen.
Yeah, you'll miss something. And I love what you said about your first hire, how she's a go-getter. I mean, using the Google Translate, that where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times people in our industry will find excuses or out of fear.
Yes.
But man, a lot of clients out there realize, hey, you're a person. It's okay. We'll figure it out. They're more thankful that they can see that you're trying.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yep.
that's amazing. Something else that I would really like to touch on is as far as you being in the NAHREP top 250, hopefully having your team in there when you guys fully transition. So what is something that you would like or that could possibly help you as a business owner and team lead for yourself, for your agents that maybe us at NAHREP Tampa Bay can do in order to help you run your business more effectively? That's NAHREP's mission at the end of the day, is empower our community, empower our real estate community in order to better serve the Latino market, or in this case, any market.
Absolutely. It's just networking events always help. I share a lot with blogs,
Okay.
anything that comes out of the chapter, I share a lot with them. Sometimes I just grab little blips and everything because at the same time, unfortunately, because of how we are and where we live, our attention span is down to 0. So I try to do things that they can look at in less than 2 minutes and everything.
Okay.
So sometimes I will skim through an entire blog or something and I will send it to them. I just grab important pieces and patch it together and everything. But we would love to learn more about networking and maybe we could do an event here because again, we're an hour and a half away from all major cities. We're very centrally located in Central Florida. We're in the middle of everything, but at the same time, we have to travel for Tampa, Orlando, Fort Myers,
Right.
Sarasota and everything, which makes it a lot easier for the realtors in those areas that they can say, okay, I'm at the office, I'll go and do this networking event and then I'll go home. For us, is a drive. So I think that's genuinely the thing that has impeded me the most from being more active in the chapter, just because you never know what's going to happen. You never know how the day, you can plan as best as you can, and still something may happen that throws the day off completely. Since we are kind of seasonal, we are a winter retreat, we may get somebody that we've been talking on the phone, and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm arriving tomorrow.
Right.
How do you, yeah, surprise. It's like, how do you not plan this? How do you not let me know 3 days in advance? And sometimes we're scrambling to make it happen. And then all of a sudden, what gets sacrificed is that networking event
Right.
in Tampa or in Orlando. So I think that has been like the biggest obstacle for us and everything, besides the fact that I have been so laser focused in growing the business. Sometimes you are just fighting to survive, even as good as it is, there's still a lot of things that happen. We grew to 40 and the overhead quintupled. It's not like you're just this little mom and pops anymore. All of a sudden now you're in a 5,000 square foot facility. You're having to pay for transaction management programs. You're paying for leads. You're doing this, you're doing that. And sometimes that can be overwhelming that you can't even think about saying, okay, well, let me go and introduce myself to this group. You want to, you definitely want to be included and you want to be a part of it. But sometimes, and life gets in the way too. I'm a single mom with 2 kids and I have a son that's a junior this year. I have a daughter that's in middle school and they have cheer and they have dance and they have marching band and they have drum corps. And so it's like, okay, what else do we have? Sometimes we're getting home at 10 o'clock at night after everybody gets done doing their stuff. So the idea of having to drive an hour and a half, maybe something a little bit closer, maybe something in Polk County, maybe Lakeland, something that, people that is still close enough for people from Tampa to go to, but it'll make it easier for us to get to you guys as well. So but
I think
that would
that's
be
a
the
great
only
idea.
but you guys can come over to me and then I'll host it. I'll host it and then we'll have a party here.
Yeah, I would love that. I think networking is so valuable. I think that's an amazing idea. I'm actually going to bring that up with the board so we can talk about it because you're right. The networking is so important. Some agents, they don't want to travel to Tampa. They might need to know agents here, right? Or Orlando or vice versa. Maybe agents here don't want to travel to Sebring.
Yep.
So I think it's a good referral opportunity. I think also it's a good kind of going back to the beginning of our conversation, like being in the office, learning what other people are doing, having some sort of mastermind, right? I think that's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. And as far as little articles and little tidbits to help to share, are you thinking status of the housing market? Are you thinking loan programs? Are you thinking how some people are getting past objections, that kind of thing, or just kind of a mix of everything?
I think that if we are going to really service our community, we need to be more educational focused, loan programs, grants. Every county has kind of their own thing, bond programs, things like that. So I think that we have to put out enough educational material out there that they think that, yes, we can. We have a property management side to our company with our original company, MBNA Realty. Now we are MBNA Group powered by LPT. So that stays separate. But it's amazing how many times we get a renter, especially a Hispanic renter, and they're like, we can't do it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. You just don't know how and everything. So if we can somehow in social media put things out, just again in that short blurb that, that it gives them enough information that they're like, okay, I need to talk to somebody. I saw this. And sometimes even with our social media, with our company, sometimes I'll get a phone call saying, hey, I saw you post this, but I don't think it applies to me. Well, why not? So sometimes it's just putting enough out there for them to call us. And then we need to be better at understanding what we can provide, the sales value, the lending value, explain the closing process. Most people don't even know that they have to pay for inspections. They're like, oh, the seller's going to pay all my closing costs. No, they're not. You have to be able to articulate the differences between all the closings costs that there is. I think it's twofold. I think that we need to do a better job really training our agents so that way they know what they're talking about and they can articulate that. And then we need to be able to articulate and teach the public to say, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z so I can get into a house. Because the worst feeling in the world is that you get into the house, but it was the worst experience of your life. You got a closing, but it was the worst experience of your life. And I don't like that. I want from A to Z, I want it to be a good experience. Sometimes they're like, oh, that was easy. Follow the checklist. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I was able to stay ahead of it because sometimes, yeah, you get into the house and they're just like, I hope I never do this again. And that's a shame because purchasing a home is your first step for building wealth in this country.
Yeah.
You do a good job with that first house, you build equity. You can take that equity out to use to educate your children if they go to college. God forbid something happens and you can get the right medical care that you need. That house is the foundation to ensure that you don't fall into poverty or anything like that. And people don't understand. The government has so many different programs. You guys, as lenders, you guys have so many. A good lender is your best friend in the process. I tell everybody, I'm like, I'm the face of the transaction, but the heartbeat is the lender because he's going to tell me exactly what we need to ensure that you get to put you in that best position to get that offer accepted. And then we get to the closing table. So we need to do a better job, I think, trying to educate the public on that. And in turn, we need to do a better job educating our agents and letting them know, you follow this process, you got to do this, because that's how you're going to also build the credibility. So that way they keep coming back. I have clients that come back to me over and over again. I have one family that I've sold 14 houses to, and they could have used anybody. They could have honestly used anyone. And they just continue to come back to me because they know that from A to Z, it's going to be a good experience with them. And I've done $75,000 properties with them. The second cousin that is just starting out and they have no down payment and we got to go and find them a USDA loan or something. And it's like, hey, but they're like, go to Tania. Go to Tania. It's like, okay, no.
That's amazing. I mean, that's a testament to your checklist, right? To your experience, the fact that people refer their family members to you. It's wonderful. It really helps show why you're part of that top 250, why you're doing the volume that you're doing, why you've been able to grow your team. So I commend you. I think it's amazing everything you said. I agree. I tell people lenders are like your mortgage GPS, right? But your agents, they're the car, right? They're the ones taking you through that whole process. I think you're so important. I definitely think agents are invaluable in our business. And it's amazing that you're able to articulate that to your clients because buying a home is so much more than just stop paying rent. It's the wealth building,
Absolutely.
the financial security, it's the emotional security. I'm right there with you. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your wisdom with us. I think people are going to take some really good feedback. Go to the office, get a mentor, have a checklist, right?
Yes.
And then, just
nailed it right there. The top three right there. And get yourself a good CRM. A good CRM is amazing. Put everybody in it.
Do you have one that you recommend?
We actually use Follow Up Boss, and it's amazing.
It's phenomenal.
It's honestly the best thing. And as a solo agent, when you're starting out, I think it's only like $28. I mean, obviously, way past that with 40 plus people in mind, but put everybody in it. Everybody on everything. It's how much more productive you can be in it. It helps you track your business. You just have to, you have to just get into the habit of, even in my checklist, I have put the deal in Follow Up Boss. Move the deal and a stage and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you can see a snapshot of exactly where you're at. And people need to treat it like that they're running a business, and they need to look for people that will help them grow the business. And having a good lender, a good title company, a good home inspection company that can work you in a moment's notice. That could be the difference between you getting a deal, because rather than putting a 15-day inspection period, when some properties are tight and that they have a lot of movement, putting a 7-day inspection period there might be the one thing that they look at and they say, these people are serious. They're going to get it done. We're going to know right away whether it's a yes or a no. And so let's go with them. The terms are better.
It's so important just having the right team. Like you said,
Absolutely.
we've got today's the 12th. We've got 4 contracts that we got in the last 2 days. All of them want to close before Christmas.
Hmm.
And it starts with having a quick inspection.
Yep.
Using our same day mortgage. We get those clear to closes in 10 days, having a good title company to get everything done in time.
That will work you in. Yes.
Exactly.
You know, I tell people I play nice with everybody,
Yeah.
but there's some people that I just know that I can go to. They see my phone number come through their cell phone. They pick it up. They know that if I'm calling is because I have a specific time frame that I need to get something done in, and they will work us in and they will do it. Sometimes you call somebody, oh, I'm busy. Sorry, I can't do it. And they might just be out chilling and everything. So having a great team around you is so important. Absolutely.
Wow. You dropped a ton of knowledge, or a ton of wisdom. So thank you again so much. I want to be respectful of your time because I did steal 5 more minutes from you. Thank you. Thank you so
Sure.
much. I really appreciate it.